This year, St. Charles County residents were impacted by events like spring tornadoes and flooding, devastating home fires, and much more. I've invited Sheila Harris Wheeler of Crider Health Center and chairperson for a group called Community Organizations Active in Disaster, also known as COAD, to talk with us about resources available should we ever face another emergency. Thanks for joining us today, Sheila.
Thank you for having me.
When large-scale disasters like the floods or the tornadoes do occur, people automatically assume that the federal government's going to come in and take over. That's just not true, is it?
No, that is not true. And the federal government has two forms of assistance that they provide or could provide, and it's based upon the needs of the area. There's public assistance, and that generally goes to reimburse people for sandbags or debris removal after a large storm. And then there's individual assistance. And individual assistance is really based upon the area and whether or not those folks have enough resources to take care of that area. And that's why a COAD is so important. If there are folks that do not have resources, do not have the means to take care of whatever happened to their home, then that's where a COAD would come in, because not always is there going to be a federal declaration for individual assistance.
We keep mentioning the acronym COAD. Could you explain what that really stands for and just an overview of what that organization does?
Yeah. A COAD is Community Organizations Active in Disaster, and it's nonprofit organizations, non-governmental organizations, churches, individuals, volunteer groups that get together and assist families and individuals in need. It's the disaster human services component for a disaster and the response to that disaster.
In a large emergency, people may feel overwhelmed, but if you had a team of people working together, they can often accomplish a great deal. What are some of the things that organizations can do during a disaster to help out?
Well, first and foremost, they can join the COAD, because our COAD in St. Charles County is directly linked with the Emergency Management Office for St. Charles County. So we work hand in hand with the Emergency Management Agency. They tell us where we can be, where it's safe to go into, and then we assist those families in need. So we work in conjunction with the Emergency Management Agency. So we invite all organizations to join the COAD. We have several different committees. They can pick which committee that they want, or they can belong to many different committees. And from there, they can find out what's going on within the community, how we would respond in a disaster, and where they're needed.
COAD, it's not just functioning during an emergency. A lot of times the things that you do is proactive in nature. One of those things was the Tri-County faith-based event that was held earlier this spring. Could you give us an overview of what that event was and what it hopes to entail in the future?
Right. We look at the faith-based workshops that we have been doing in the faith-based initiative as a way in which to enhance and provide support to COAD, because it's all of the churches within the Tri-County area that can come together and they can work on both different things. They can work on getting their own congregation prepared in the event of a disaster, because everyone individually should be prepared, as we know. And then they can also reach out to their friends and their neighbors in times of a disaster. And there's churches who want to do that. They want to belong. They want to know how they can help their neighbors. And this gives them a mechanism to come into and to work within a system.
Sheila, thanks a lot. It's nice to know that people are out there in case of emergency and we're not out there on our own.